For a classic French omelet, 3 eggs, salt, white pepper, butter. That's all the ingredients. And I'm going to strain out the egg mixture to make it extra smooth. I'm going to make it in this is an 8-inch non-stick pan. I beat my eggs. 3 eggs for an 8-inch pan is kind of the ideal egg to pan diameter ratio. So 3 eggs into the bowl. I'm gonna add a couple pinches of salt. And instead of black pepper, I'm gonna use white pepper because the classic French omelet requires the end product to be pale, if that makes sense. So you're not supposed to get any color on the eggs. And then we're gonna beat the eggs. You wanna make sure you beat them real good. All right, this looks pretty good. All right, pan on, heat. I'm gonna start on medium. Now I'm gonna take about 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter. Here. Well, this might be 1.5 tablespoons, but hey, it's butter. So I'm gonna plop that straight in. Okay. And let it melt. I'm feeling a bit adventurous, so I'm gonna take it up a notch and turn it up to medium high. Just so that the butter can melt a little bit faster. In terms of cooking equipment, I'm using a silicone or rubber spatula. You could use this or anything that won't scratch the surface of the non-stick pan. All right, I might have added a little bit too much butter, but there's no such thing as too much butter. Well, if you add like, I don't know, a whole stick in here, that might be an issue, but like, 2 tablespoons as opposed to 1 doesn't make a huge difference. Now the butter has almost all melted and it's starting to sizzle a little bit. That's great. Now I'm going to lower the heat to medium. Beat my eggs one last time. Okay, butter is sizzling a little bit too aggressively. I'm going to take it off the hob here. I'm going to add my eggs in through this fine mesh sieve or strainer or colander. I'm trying to make sure I get the most out of it. I'm bringing it back over here, over medium heat. And I'm gonna let it heat up, let it cook for like 15 to 20 seconds. And then I'm gonna go in and start stirring with my spatula. I'm trying to make sure I reach every single corner of the pan. I'm doing this to create like tiny little curds, which have already started to form. Again, you can do it on higher heat. It's gonna require more agitation, and there's a way smaller room for error. I'm doing it over medium heat, still constantly stirring everything. The idea is you don't want anything to brown on the bottom. You want everybody to have an equal opportunity to touch the bottom of the pan, to cook very gently. Okay. Keep stirring. Scraping the sides of the pan as well. Now for quite some time it's going to look like it's never going to set. It's never going to coagulate. But you're just going to keep working. Okay, and at some point it's going to start to set at a faster pace. It's not a linear progression. And also you can agitate the pan, by moving it back and forth while shaking, while stirring, Starting to set a little bit more. And if you feel like it's going a little bit too fast, you can always take it off the heat, The good old Gordon Ramsay scrambled eggs method. Basically, I'm making scrambled eggs here up towards this point. I'm just trying to make sure nothing scorches, nothing browns. The heat has been on medium this whole time. Started on medium high to preheat. It's been on medium ever since. All right. Now, it looks like this at this stage. It's mostly set, but it's still a little bit runny. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the heat off. And I'm going to spread the mixture out so that I can't see the bottom of the pan, if that makes sense. Okay. And I can turn the heat off because this is an electric cooktop and there's enough residual heat still coming from the bottom to set the eggs. So I'm gonna make sure that it's all evenly spread out. I'm gonna be real gentle. You can keep the heat on if you're confident enough, but I'm very cautious here. It's like spreading butter on toast. You know, you wanna make sure there's a little bit of butter everywhere. In this case, there's a little bit of egg mixture everywhere. Okay, once you've done that, spread it out a little bit more. Okay. I'm turning the heat back on to a medium low. Now what I'm trying to do is just to set the bottom. And once it's set, and that's gonna happen very quickly, I'm gonna take it out. I'm also gonna just get my plate ready because it's gonna go straight into the plate, onto the plate, I mean. So it's been about a minute on medium-low heat. I'm just gonna see if I can, you know, try to roll this up, but first of all, I'm just gonna sort of scrape down around the pan to see how set the egg mixture is, and it's pretty set. So I'm gonna turn the heat off. As you can see here, the edges are all completely set. It's almost like it's developing a thin layer of like skin around the edge, if that makes sense. So now I'm gonna start rolling the omelet. This is the stressful part. Roll that over. You can see there's no color, right? Roll it up again. All right, now I've got the side completely wrong. I should have like unrolled it a little bit more and then inverted onto the plate so that the seam side is down, but that's okay. That's what it looks like, and it's done. So, French omelet, look at this. It's smooth thanks to the non-stick pan. And there's layers. It's all set, but it's still extremely soft. See, this looks almost custardy, but everything's set. So now let's give it a try. I mean, I don't have much to say here. This is just some of the eggiest eggs I've ever had. It's smooth, it's creamy, it's savory, it's rich, it's delicious. Whew! The best thing to pair with a French omelet is a cup of Hong Kong style milk tea. Now, what's the most important thing? Get a good non-stick pan. And by a good non-stick pan, I mean any new non-stick pan. A brand new non-stick pan is perfectly non-stick in the sense that you don't need a droplet of oil to cook anything, and it's not gonna stick. You know, cheap ones work just fine. This one was like $15. And handle with care, you know. Cook it on medium heat and then lower it down. Give it a few minutes, or rather 30 to 45 seconds to set. Roll it up, put it on the plate. This is French omelet. And you know, if you mess up, well, everybody says this, but if you mess up an omelet, you still get scrambled eggs. Well, you can definitely add stuff to it. This is just like a bog standard, basic, sort of classic French omelet. You can grate cheese. towards the end. And you can add some chives to the egg mixture. French omelet is more about the texture of the eggs, if that makes sense. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment, share. I'm out of here.